Hello and welcome back to the final part of making your DIY Christmas wreath. So hopefully all the foliage went on okay, and all of the forage bits and pieces we put in your wraps have been suitably cut and twisted and worked into your design. So the final steps now are just to place the dried fruits and spices that we wired earlier. Keep saying it, but do clean down your work surface. Moss clings to everything, and you don't really want it on your lovely evergreens. So have a good wipe down and then you're ready for the final stage. Now I like to start with attaching the bow because then it helps me centre the design, and because it's probably the biggest decoration, then I can work out from there. So I've had a look at the wreath and I've decided I'm going to position the bow at the bottom. So back to our clock analogy, about 6 o'clock. So if you remember, we wired it at the back with just one long tail and a short tail to twist it securely. So my hanging hook is here. So visually work your way down to what's going to be the centre bottom, and then what I'm going to do is gently thread the wire so I catch the inside edge of the foliage and the moss ring. I'm not trying to penetrate the whole wreath because it's quite thick by now, but I'm just gently working the ribbon down. I'm not going to pull it all the way through because I want to be able to adjust the final positioning of the bow. So it's just through at the moment, and I haven't secured it, so I'm just making sure I like where this is going to hang. Check again with the hanging hook. Yeah, that's going to be in the middle. So then carefully turn your wreath over, and then there's the piece of wire that's come through. Now this is really important for the quality of your front door. You want to bend that over and make a U-bend and push it away to the front of the wreath through the moss so that the pointed end is away from the back surface here. So just push it in and it will then secure the bow. Next up, I think we'll go in with the cones. In terms of decorating your wreath, totally up to you. We've obviously given you frieze, which is really pleasing to the eye visually. It's odd, but in terms of design, we don't tend to like even numbers, so we tend to work in frieze. So you could cluster all of the pine cones together and then do a group of cinnamon and then peppers, but I prefer to distribute the decorations around the design and just take care to not place them all at the same place on the wreath. So some towards the outside edge, some tucked into the inner circle, the inner centre of the wreath. So I'm going to try and pick up the neutral tones of the ribbon. I think I want my first pine cone here. So I'm just finding a way through the foliage. Again, just working to the inside edge, hand underneath just to feel the cone coming through. Get it into a position that you're happy with, and then bend that wire back. So that's now nicely positioned. My second cone, I've got a bit of teasel there, so I think my second cone I'm going to put in here, and I'm going to place it more towards the outside edge this time. So again, feeling my way through, just trying to pick up a little bit of the foliage and moss. Sometimes it disappears, and you can't find the end, so I pull it out and try again. It's usually because you're trying to go too deeply into the wreath. So here it is, got that little bit out, turn it back to make a U-bend and push it in. It's nice. I think I'm going to put the last one on after I've put some cinnamon in. So my cinnamon's got the little raffia bundles, and again a nice long piece of wire. I'm going to thread it through. Put my hand underneath to feel it coming out the other side. Yeah. I quite like the cinnamon bundles nestled down rather than lying on the surface of the wreath. It's totally up to you, but I think that just looks slightly more natural than having everything that's on the surface level. It's a nice big bunch there, so let's go up. And definitely let your foliage placement determine where you're adding your decorations. So if there's some nice calm patches where maybe there's just the Christmas tree fir showing, then that's a good spot to work a decoration in. And I'm making sure that the angle of the cinnamon stick bundles is different. Again, that'll be more pleasing visually. I'm just going to tuck that one down and bring the wire back in and push it through the moss. And then where am I going to put the final one? I think I'm going to put it down here actually. And I'm going to work that in so you can just see the sticks poking out that side. Taking care every time to push that wire back through. Now I think we'll have a splash of red now with the chili peppers. Now these are probably the most fragile of the decorations, so handle them with a bit of care and they should go in okay. Because they're quite a nice long shape, I think you can definitely use them to make your wreath even more 3D. So there we go, and bringing that piece of wire back through. Don't be tempted to push it towards the back. Another nice long piece there. And these chilies are really picking up the reds on the ribbon. I don't know about you, but I experiment with lots of different coloured baubles and decorations over the years, but red and gold and green is such a pleasing combination. Right, let's wiggle those. Get those more in position so they can be seen at the top. Now where does that final bunch want to go? I think it needs to come over here. So while I'm just working these final few decorations in, let's talk about caring for your wreath. So attach it to your front door using the hanging hook, or you could use a metal over door hanger. They are available. I think Range usually stocks some. You might be able to find some online on Amazon. They don't always work on front doors, so it's definitely worth trying before you buy, if that's possible. Okay, finally, where am I going to put my oranges? I think I want a splash of colour in here, so I'm going to go for an inside edge this time and get it quite near the base. Got that nice splash of colour right towards the centre top. And do take your time to stand back and have a look. If that's working or not working for you, then If you've not buried the wire too deeply, you should be able to readjust it. Again, I like the oranges to take on a bit of a fan shape and just keep changing the angles so they're not all flat and on the surface. Let's have a little splash of orange down here as well. I've got one on the inside, so I think this one can come more into the middle area. If you want to position something in the centre of the wreath ring, i.e. this top bit, then the wire is long enough for it to catch an edge, but then still hold its place more centrally. And just one final comb, which I think I want up here, just to make the eye travel up to the top of the wreath. Right, so I was talking about caring for your wreath. So obviously get it securely fastened on your door, and then if you have got a misting spray bottle, as long as it's not had anything like cleaning products or pesticides or herbicides in it, it's just had clean water in it, then that will be fine to use. To fill with clean water, doesn't need any flower food or anything, and then just lay your wreath down flat once or twice before Christmas. Careful not to get your ribbon too wet, and give it a good spray, and it'll just prolong the life of the foliage. We take these down in January, and the ivy, the spruce, is usually all still very green. So there we go, our finished Christmas wreath. So thank you very much. I hope you have enjoyed your tutorial. Please take a photo of your wreath and share it on Instagram, tagging us. So it's at Fairford_Flower_ Collective, and we will give you a shout out. We'd really like to see where the products end up, and yeah, stay in touch and have a very safe and happy Christmas.